let's go talk to our Bears friends because Chicago's the number one city for our podcast listeners, so we must appeal.
Can't bring them back on side now. It's too late. You burned those bridges last week, and you just have to accept that. You can't butter them up now after this win and try and get back in their good graces.
This isn't buttering them up. I'm gonna tell them how Trubisky also once again he threw a pick six worthy play just as bad as Kirk Cousins' actual pick six.
Are you about to spend the next 15 minutes again hammering on Trubisky?
No, I really wanted to talk about their defense.
Okay.
Let's talk about the Bears' defense. Are the Bears the best of the bad defenses?
The best bad defense
in
the league.
The NFL. They've been atop our grading for a while, but I think, just like the Redskins, we talked about, there's certain games that stick in your head where you just can't get over the fact that they got crushed or whatever it is. I think for the Bears, it was, they got smoked by the Dolphins offense led by Osweiler. They gave up what they gave up to Miami, 31 to Miami and then 38 to New England. So on back-to-back weeks, they're giving up a ton of points. How could they be the best defense in the NFL? And I do think you have to adjust for their competition. They played the Jets. They played the Bills. They played the Cardinals. They did shut down a Tampa Bay Bucks team that's going to throw for about 6,000 yards this year. But that was crazy Fitz, right? That was Fitz's regression week. But are they the best defense in the NFL? The Bears. By our grading, they are. Just overall grade, not weighing anything.
Yeah. They have the capability, right? They've been getting better for a while. Khalil Mack was this catalyst to really kickstart what was happening on this defense. Last year, the entire secondary took this giant leap forward. All those young guys started to play well. They retained them in free agency. They managed to tie them down and roll into this year with the same group of guys, including bringing back somebody like Prince Amukamara, who is the perfect embodiment of that. Just get an average corner.
Right.
He doesn't have to be great. He just has to not get killed all the time.
Big Amukamara fans over here.
You can get beat every now and again. You can give up some plays because all cornerbacks are going to. The question is how many are you going to give up? And Amukamara consistently is average, right, across the board.
Yep.
Just as reasonable starting corner, and that's an important thing. So they got that secondary tied down. They were moving better on the up front. They got guys like Akeem Hicks. Eddie Goldman has been better than we thought he would be coming out of college. And then the linebackers they've been attacking as well, right? You get Danny Trevathan in free agency. You get Roquan Smith in the draft. So they've been getting better. But then Khalil Mack just brings this whole new level of dominance and takes you from a reasonable defense that's moving in the right direction to suddenly he can take over games. And, he gets you to that point where your defense can completely win a game single-handedly, which is what happened against the Vikings. It's what happened for them before this season when Khalil Mack just goes on these runs. So, yeah, it's one of the few defenses in today's NFL that can win a game rather than expect the offense to do it and just keep them in a game.
The thing about Khalil Mack that's interesting, he battled injury, and you could actually look, if you guys have Premium Stats 2.0, all a part of your PFF Elite package, you go into the grading, and you could see where he got injured. He played injured at Miami, and he played injured against New England. So the two games that I highlighted that made me not believe as much in the Bears' defense, you could say, well,
busted up Khalil Mack.
Yes. Directly related to a three pressures over 2 weeks for Khalil Mack against Miami and New England. 47.8 grade, a 55 grade. Against Detroit last week, only a 63.9. Last night, though, against Minnesota, 91.5, a 97.2 against the run because of the forced fumble recovery. He's got 5 forced fumbles. That's the most he's ever had in his career. Right. But when you add it all up, it's the lowest grade of his career because of that stretch in the middle where he kind of disappeared due to injury. But when he's healthy, making that type of impact with the forced fumbles and the strip sacks, that's tough to find.
Those 2 injured games are the only games of his season where he hasn't had a sack. They represent 2 of the 3 games where he hasn't had a forced fumble.
That's crazy.
So
that's tough to sustain.
Right.
But to this point, I'm saying that's
certainly the forced
crazy.
Fumble part. I can see the sack thing sustaining just because he's generating a ton of pressure.
Yep.
But, basically this season, what you have had from Khalil Mack is a guaranteed sack and a guaranteed forced fumble outside of 2 games where he's been injured. And those are game-changing performances.
And they gave up over 30 in both of those games.
Yeah,
so there's something to that.
It's not even necessarily those plays. It's the sheer dominance and insane playmaking he's had. The week before, he tossed aside a tight end chip block, then ran right the hell over Taylor Decker, left tackle for the Detroit Lions. Now, okay, apparently somebody stepped on Taylor Decker's foot, which is why he fell over, but still, Khalil Mack just ran through two guys, right? Yeah. Then this week, he literally tossed Riley Reef with one hand to the ground just in the course of a game. Like, he's absolutely wrecking people this season. And the crazy thing is, he may not even have been the most dominant player on this Bears defense yesterday because Akeem Hicks was doing the same thing inside. By the way, why do people think Pat Elflein is good?
I don't know.
Because he played all last season. And apparently if you play early in your career as a center, you're good. Whether you actually play well or not, if you're playing, you're good. Right? So he played.
I don't think people are great at evaluating offensive linemen. I think we are very good at evaluating offensive linemen. I'm biased. I think PFF knows, though.
Okay. He played last season, the whole year, really, and played badly. Gave up a lot of pressure. Centers do not give up pressure, and he gave up a ton of it. And he also kind of got his ass kicked in the run game. So this season, it was part of the thing. He was injured early in the year. Elflein's coming back. It's going to improve this offensive line. It's going to be better down the stretch. Elflein comes back, proceeds to have the same kind of ass kicking that he's had in his rookie year. And, even just the previous few weeks, we've seen him get bench pressed to the ground by Sheldon Rankins from the Saints. We saw Akeem Hicks run through him this week like he wasn't even there.
Akeem Hicks had a huge game.
He is not good.
I think the only thing you're hoping for, though, is we do see improvement from young interior offensive linemen who struggle early and can get better. He's at a rough start, though.
Yes, and if that was going to happen, which I admit can happen, I would like to see some suggestion that there's the upside. Right?
Red's bad, right?
Where is the suggestion of upside in his career so far? We've essentially had two half-decent games. One of them came against Detroit back when they had the worst defensive front in the game.
Yeah.
So I don't see this from Elflein, but he was one of the people that Akeem Hicks ran right through yesterday. Akeem Hicks was insane.
He was fantastic. Eddie Jackson had the pick six. He's found his way to the football quite a bit. 92.4 overall grade for him. So, Bears, best defense? Three cornerbacks all grading well between Amukamara, Bryce Callahan, Kyle Fuller.
Sure, all right. On the basis,
there's a lot going there.
On the basis that everybody starts at 15, the Bears might be the best number 15 ranked defense in the NFL.
Maybe they're 12th?
Ooh, I don't know.
Again, we refuse to give any team number one ranking.
Yeah.